In terms of the characteristics, we've talked about the sacral chakra being balanced, and when we're deficient in this chakra, we experience a certain rigidity, even with our body, even like frigidity, even with our sexual awareness, and an emotional numbness, almost like we don't want pleasure, like we're the martyr. Does this show up for you in any way, either in your personal life or with your students or family or any of that?
Yeah, definitely. I have to say in my own life, for sure, when I'm overworking and when I'm giving out too much energy, when I'm not centering in, when I'm drinking too much coffee, for example, when I'm rushing, when I'm not resting, when I'm not taking time to play, when I'm not taking time to be artistic, for example. When I'm, even though my work is always creative, it can be directed and can be taken by fear, and can be, have an underlying current of, I have to do this. I have to create amazing classes, amazing retreats, amazing presentations, talks. I have to, and if I'm not delivering to this certain standard, I feel I'm not good enough and I'm not well received, the fear. So I have to come back and let go of this fear. I have to trust that actually my trust in nature and the waves coming through me in very have brought me here to where I am right now. So it's necessary that I stop, and I have my practices to do that, and it's necessary that I always tune in and see also my daily relationship with my husband and with everyone who surrounds me as my practice.
Most definitely.
Yeah, so it does show up, definitely. And when it comes to yoga, I teach in different studios here in Newcastle at the moment, and it's one style I'm really fond of is Iyengar yoga, for example. But I personally teach hatha, so alignment based hatha vinyasa. So it's alignment focused, but it's still flowing and represents the movement of water in us. But I love the alignment, the way of alignment. But seeing full blown Iyengar students, I see this rigidity and holding on to the rules and on how to and not letting go. And it's so sad, because if you allow them, if you give them a little bit more freedom and movement, they don't know what's going on, but this is where the juice of life is, to let go and let the wave throw you around and allow yourself and trust that you come up, that you will come out of that fresh and renewed.
What a great example. What a wonderful example. The deficiency shows up with me because the layers of guilt that I find myself continuously having to peel off is that hard work ethic that I inherited from my parents, where I feel guilty if I'm not, I know it sounds weird, but if I'm not struggling, or if it came too easy for me, it's almost like I wear the struggle like this badge of honor, like martyr. See how much I'm suffering? I must be a good person. And, that's an inherited belief system that I continuously work to clear, to think rest is part of it. And I see that, as my parents have gotten older and are quite humbled by their own ailing health, this is something that they really reinforce, and they say, don't do what we did. But it's so ingrained and enmeshed in me. It's more like, but I can. And to whom am I benefiting? No one, certainly nobody. Yes, and what I found interesting is that Kundalini yoga works with this, is actually a representation of exactly that. We have in Kundalini yoga, you do repetitive movements, you hold postures longer, where you break, where it's shown that there's something deeper that needs to move you rather than your mind, that needs to move you forward and let your work do. And Kundalini yoga is, I think, that gets me out of that very quickly. Always has. When I was choosing the sequences for the e-courses, the problem was just like having so much and deciding which I was going to choose, and really committing to that particular sequence for that particular chakra, because I didn't want to make it too intense, especially for beginners. But there's medicine in that, like you said, that repetitious movement. Because for me, the greatest thing was not necessarily the physical strength. Sure, that happened. I was already strong, though, as a dancer. I was already strong as a Hatha Vinyasa yogi. I wasn't very strong in my mind, and I couldn't be still with my meditations. So that repetitious movement has helped me build up my nervous system. So I'm less reactive. It's my emotions. It's my consideration of my words. It's my ability to pause and not respond, not because I think that no one's going to listen to me, but because I think, you know what, now's not the time. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to express it when that person is in a better position to hear it. Or if I get angry, old triggers will still trigger me, but they get moved pretty quickly. I think, okay, let's move on. There are greater things to focus on. So that's what's been really helpful for me.